Hello everyone, it's Pat with our Oracle card reading and messages for the reading for the month of October. So I just got through listening to the one I did for September, and it was really interesting to see the way the hits that I was getting, the themes that I was getting, played out over the course of the month and the way the cards came up and everything. So um, for this month, as I pulled the cards, again, had some interesting things happen because, for 1 week, one card might have come out, but then the next week, a couple cards came out. So I trust what came out as I was shuffling for the month of October. And so let's see what is going on. Okay. So as usual, I picked some Archangel cards to start us out, to kind of see who's overseeing us for the month of October. Okay. Just like I do in the weekly readings. All right. So for the month of October, we have the Archangel Chamuel with this message of beloved one, okay? And it says, I'm helping you with your spiritual soulmate relationship. Now, when I look at that card, when I'm tuning into that card, what came to me was that, October is the month where the veil is the thinnest. And so I feel in a way it has to do with our loved ones in spirit that people have passed on, that we may be feeling very close this month. Okay. For some of you, it may feel intensely close. You may feel them very intensely around. So because they are our beloved ones, they are our loved ones. They've just passed on. But as I said, October is that month where the veil is the thinnest, and we can feel our loved ones around a lot more acutely than maybe that we normally do, or we're reminded of them in many ways. So I also feel like we're just keeping our loved ones close as we see what's going on in the world. As you know, when I do these readings, I like to, I pass on what impressions I get about, what it has to do with the world at large. What's going on in our government, our country, events in the world, as well as what it might mean for us at a personal level. So, because I do believe that the cards have messages about both. So we're keeping our loved ones close because we're seeing what goes on in the world, and so when there's a lot of upheaval in the world, like there is now. Since last month, we are now. And I made reference to this last month, but in last month's reading, but we're now in impeachment hearings in the country. So there's a lot of upheaval. And so we're being, it's that time when we have that awareness of like who are our real people around us. What are the relationships that we cherish? Our beloved ones. Okay. It can, certainly have to do with a spouse or a romantic partner, a significant other, relationship. Chamuel is definitely an archangel who helps to oversee relationships. He's also an angel of vision. He's considered to be the finding angel, vision of God. So, there's definitely, it signifies that there's a lot of attention being paid to that this month. And in a very real way, okay, here in the United States, our president, not necessarily the current president, depending on how you feel about that, it is in a way a beloved one. There are a lot of people who, are really, they just love Trump. Just like there was a lot of people, I would say probably a larger number of people who loved Obama. So, in terms of our president, our leader, for our country, we consider him in some way like our beloved one. Again, not necessarily that you personally feel that way about our current president, but anyways, so, we're kind of examining that, and things may be changing on that. In that arena, okay? We may be looking at a new, who is our next beloved one, okay? In terms of who's the next leader for our country. So there's a lot of that going on. But anyways, but Chamuel is an angel of vision, having to find things. and helping to mend, repair, enhance, or improve relationships. All right. He's about having that community around you, which I know is what we ended off with as the card for the end of September, about community and tribe and stuff like that. So we also got the Archangel Jeremiel, who's reassuring us that all is well. All right. And this card says everything is happening exactly as it's supposed to, with hidden blessings you will soon understand. And this card is very much, the reason he says all is well is because it's to remind us that all this upheaval that we see going on is really breaking down what no longer serves us. Our country's in a very transformative time, and a lot of the good things that programs and things that we put in place have been abused. They were put in place for the common good, but people found ways to get around them and cheat the system, et cetera, et cetera. So all of that has to be broken down and rebuilt in a manner of speaking. And, literally because of natural disasters that have been happening, things have been broken down and have to be rebuilt, reorganized and what have you. So it's about, the old that's not serving us falling away. There is, so that the new can enter. So anyways, he's reassuring us, he's letting us know that everything's going to be okay. It may not always feel like all is well when things are in upheaval, but it's a reassurance card. And Jeremiel is an angel of prophetic insight. He's an angel who helps us with transitions, helping us to overcome conflict, I guess I could say conflict resolution, but he's an angel of mercy. He helps us to be more merciful upon ourselves, other people, and the situations that we're involved in. Okay, so that's who's overseeing us for this month of October. All right. Okay, so let's get into what's going on in this first week, and we have this, which I've switched to the Colette Baron Reid cards, the Wisdom of the Oracle. So for the first week, which is this week, we have this card, Go to the Sea, but it's in protection. And Go to the Sea is very much about going with the flow. So when it's in protection, it's signals that, things are being blocked. And certainly in our country, we've gone in the direction of, okay, things are now moving forward with impeachment proceedings. But yeah, of course, the administration is throwing things in, to obstruct that flow, to obstruct things moving forward and progressing in a quicker, easy manner. They're blocking the flow. They're trying to block the flow. So, the first week, and you may find that in your personal life too. It's like, okay, there may be disruptions to that flow, the flow of your week that are taking place. There may be, if you're driving to work, there may be car accidents that come in the way. You may have planned your day really well, but, a wrench gets thrown into the plans. So it's, a little bit about relaxing and, but knowing that, forward progress you're still going to make progress, it's still going to be there, but there's just, things that get thrown into the mix so anyways, that's what that message is about. The first week, there's a bit of a theme there of the go with the flow being disrupted. But it's called Go to the Sea for a reason, because just like the sea ebbs and flows, okay? As they say, when fishermen can't go to sea, they repair their nets. So, it's very much about being present with what's going on, okay? And dealing with what's in front of you when it gets, when the flow seems to not be there, or when you feel like you're not in the flow, step back, get present again, and, that flow will return. All right. So for the second week, there was a couple of cards that flipped out. So we had No Place Like Home and Unfinished Business. Okay. So, unfinished symphony. I think I said unfinished business, but it very much has to do with unfinished business. So, this has to do with completing things. And it might be having to do with completing things related to your home, or to something, new that you've endeavored upon, or, it has to do with the pile of, in some ways it has to do with the to-do list that you have to get to, that may be sitting in your home, or a project you've started, what have you. But no place like home has to do with authenticity too. And because if you think of home, it's that place where you feel most yourself, you're most authentic, where you can really be you. Okay. And, being able to be yourself in, relationship with other people. All right. So, in the second week, I also feel like it might have to do with, being in touch with people where things need to get talked out. That's also part of, unfinished symphony. It has to do with tying up of loose ends. But it might have, with, paperwork as well as people, so that you can feel at home with that person again. Okay, so that you can, a lot of times when you've talked things out with someone, when there's been difficulty there, or, a feeling of discomfort, once you've talked it out, the different issues, then you can be back in a place where you're feeling relaxed and at ease with that person. So it suggests that, and this may have to do with your soulmate relationship, that you're in. Okay, that you want to be able to feel at home with that person. It reminds me of that. There's a song that was done by Billy Joel called "You're My Home," and it was a beautiful song. And I always thought, if I ever got married again, that might be my wedding song. That's if, but because in the line of the song is, "That's all right, my love, because you're my home." And we like to feel at home and ease with people, so it's about mending what needs to be mended with that. Okay, so there may be a lot of that going on in the second week of the month. Okay, so the third week is, we have this Go the Distance card, which is about hanging in there for the long haul. Okay, yeah, it's about, you have the energy and the the hang in. It's definitely a hang in there card and a keep going card. Okay, that you have the strength, the energy, the it's about a long-term commitment too, but you're going the distance with something. Okay, you're hanging in there for the long haul. And let's see if there's any other messages. It's the cheetah, which is one of the fastest cats in the animal world. Okay. I sort of feel, as I look at it too, that there's a lot of work to be done. Okay. But we're definitely going the distance and following through completely on it. Even though there may be some time involved, in that week, it's about, following through with things to their completion. Okay. Following it through, seeing it through to the end is the energy of that card. Okay. So, anyway, I'm going to move on to the fourth week because, there's 3 cards that have come out for the fourth week. Okay, so there was 3 that flipped out altogether here. And it's Why, Treasure Island, and Time for a Nap. Okay, and as we go the end of October, as we head into the end of October, Mercury goes into retrograde. I believe it actually goes into retrograde on the 31st. So that's when we feel that slow down of energy. For those of us who are very energetically sensitive, there's a real, heaviness or slowing down of the energy that can come along with that. So not surprising that we got this time for a nap. And I think that whatever's transpired over the course of the month, for you personally and in our world at large, that by the end of the month, you're just ready to take a rest. Okay. It's definitely time to take it easy. When Mercury goes into retrograde, electronics can go haywire, things can break down. But again, as I mentioned, the energy can just feel heavy. And for you personally, you may just feel very tired. Okay. When Mercury goes into retrograde, it's often a time that we look at reviewing things in our life. So no surprise, Jeremiah is an angel who helps us do that as well. Okay. But the Y card is looking at the underlying reasons for things, questioning the whys. How did I get to this point? Why did this have to happen? Why am I here? Why am I thinking about this? Why did I decide to do this? But anyways, it's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean you've made a wrong decision or anything like that. But you're just looking at the underlying motivations for things. Okay. And, the Treasure Island card came out with it too. And Treasure Island always means that, there's some kind of prosperity showing up in some kind of form. This was interesting because this came out for our monthly reading. And the way the Treasure Island showed up for me was, one, I got a new car. And what was interesting is that a couple of my credit cards increased my credit limit, which I thought was really interesting. I was like, oh, I haven't thought of that as a form of prosperity, but I guess it is. So anyways, you may be looking at your underlying motivations for, if you have a new money goal for yourself that you've set, things like that. But, it is very much about taking it easy at the end of the month. You just it seems to feel like there's this, at the end of the month, there's this relaxed sort of contemplative time. You're relaxing, you're giving yourself permission to rest, but you're thinking about your motivations and maybe your finances. There may also, when this card is there, it does mean that real, tangible, spendable money shows up in some form. So you may be getting a bonus at the end of the month. There may be more money showing up for you. And, if you're exhausted from the month and you did a lot of work that may, that's why that money's coming in, you may be looking at why you feel the need to work so hard, outside of the extra money. Why you driving yourself so hard. So you're really looking at the underlying motivations. It's a contemplative time, which is perfect for when Mercury goes into retrograde. We reflect on things. It's a good time to reflect on things. So, that's what we have going on with that. And I think it's interesting. We get a lot from when we look at the pictures when we do readings. And there's a book there that has wings on it. Okay. So I feel like for some of you, it might have to do with a book that you're reading that's making you question either your thinking process or it's making you question those motivations. Okay. And with the wings, I feel like it's something that maybe came to you from your own guardian angels or for asking for help from the divine, what have you. You may have attracted it to yourself in some way. And what's interesting is the number on that card is the 31st. So it comes up right at the end of the month when Mercury goes into retrograde. So very interesting. So anyways, those are our messages for the month of October. And now let's see I'm going to do another video number 2 on what's going on for this week. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to leave your comments below and, please like this video, maybe subscribe if you found it helpful. All right. I'll talk to you very soon. Take care, everyone.